Today we're going to be speaking about AD360, a unique collaborative product offering by Ornico and Columinate, which looks at the impact of advertising from audience reception to sales. We're speaking today to Henk Pretorius, Columinator in charge. Welcome to the Redzone on Financial Mail.
Thank you.
Now Henk, this is a unique collaboration between two very well-known data and research powerhouses. What is the thinking behind it?
I think traditionally what we found as a research agency is that a lot of clients, once we present findings on consumer reactions, want to know how an ad's performed in the media. So similarly from an Ornico perspective, I think once they've presented data on media performance, typically clients want to know how did an ad perform from a consumer perspective.
We all know that ad tracking in the past is very fragmented, it takes a lot of time and it's quite costly. AD360 offers clients something that's a lot more real-time and it gives a holistic view on the whole campaign success and how it's working. Tell me a little bit more about this and how is it going to add value to marketers?
So essentially what we've done is we've combined the consumer reaction studies that we conduct as Columinate with media information on flighting times, when an ad first flights, the number of times that an ad flights and on which channels, and we present this as an holistic view on a weekly basis. So every week we provide clients in a given industry with the performance of all the ads in that category on not just the consumer reactions but also media performance.
And from a data point of view, you're not only offering stats on spend and ad flighting, but also key insights into the emotional and psychological responses from the consumer perspective.
Correct.
I believe you've got a very heavy background in psychology yourself. How will AD360 set itself apart from other ad tracking metrics?
I think if there's one thing that we've learned as an industry, as a market research industry over the last 10 years, it's that the typical rational things that we expect consumers to behave like, making big lists of attributes that they check off before they buy products, that's not realistic. That's not the way that most people go about actually making decisions. So what we've actually built into this AD360 consumer reaction test is a bunch of emotive metrics that looks at an ad performance not just on an overall level, but also the build-up of emotions over time within the ad. In this way, we get much closer to the way in which people actually choose products and brands.
So you're saying it's going to make campaigns a lot more agile. I'd like to know how.
So think about a typical ad test. If a company needs to wait a couple of months before they get results back, there's very little proactive information in that data. Sure, they can go and change the next ad, but changing an actual campaign while it's being flighted is very difficult. The way we present this information on a weekly and monthly basis means that companies can actually go change those ads, change the flighting schedules, change the content of the ads in real time, meaning for us on a weekly basis.
You mentioned when we were talking earlier that there's a campaign that you can't give me too much information on about now, but maybe you can give us a little bit of details into what the Redzone viewers can look forward to and when we cover it.
We've got a big case study that we just conducted in banking. So we've closed it off end of December. It looks at all the ads, the newcomer ads that have flighted in the fourth quarter of 2015. And it looks at the whole banking industry. Now, the one thing that's really interesting that we've seen there is that once we can detect that an ad is going to be successful, in other words, looking at consumer reactions, then often those successful ads do not get flighted enough. And this comes from the media performance information of Ornico. So imagine a client then that's got a very successful ad that could potentially spend much more ad money actually flighting this ad that's not doing it. These are some of the cases that we've seen. Similarly, we've seen clients spending a lot on ads that are actually much less successful than they thought they'd be. Without this kind of information, it's always going to be a case of just finding out too late.
Well, it's clear that by using a very clever use of technology and moving away from traditional ad tracking methods, I believe that AD360 is going to add some real value to not only marketers but also to brands.
That's certainly what we think and we've seen so far.
And thank you for joining us, Henk.
Thank you very much.